Hello, I'm Brian Critchell and I'm here today with Kevin LeGrand, who's President of the Society of Pension Consultants and also Principal and Head of Technical Services for Buck Consultants. Kevin, welcome. Thank you for coming.
You're welcome.
One of the ways in which consultants attempted to put simplicity on the table was to suggest that the trust-based DC should move to contract-based as a means of simplifying the whole process and cutting down on this rather expensive governance that we had. Was that a wise move? Because I think that all it's done is to create a governance gap, and certainly the regulator is waking up and looking at suspiciously that there is a governance gap here that needs filling. So was this a wise thing for the consulting fraternity to have done, or was it just another way of turning things over and generating more revenue?
Well, I think that we didn't create the governance gap, first of all. It's important to recognise that. That was there anyway. Arguably, all that the consultants did was exploit that and, in the process, draw everybody's attention to it, those who hadn't realised in the first place that it existed. But I think that if an employer's sole reason for choosing a contract-based arrangement over a trust-based arrangement, for example, was simply to reduce the governance that they would have to comply with, then I think that's probably the cart pulling the horse. I'd like to think that there were other factors involved in that decision, and that this was only just one of them.
We talked about a governance gap,
Yes.
and you quite rightly defended your members and other consultants who just pointed out, highlighted it, used it. But aren't we in danger of actually widening that unless the contract-based providers can break cover and tell us how they're going to cope with auto-enrolment? Because as far as I'm aware, the only ones making noises at the moment are those who are actually going to promote master trusts and other forms of low-cost trust-based product to deal with the complexities of auto-enrolment.
I don't think that the delay in some providers coming up with their responses for new contracts to comply with auto-enrolment is down to some kind of conspiracy to avoid meeting governance requirements. I think that it's probably down more to looking at competitors in the marketplace and trying to find out where they want to pitch their offer, as it were. At the end of the day, I think that the issue of governance is effectively going to be quite separate from the kind of offering that's actually involved, that's actually going to come out of these people. And I think that we're already beginning to see some providers starting to go into some detail about what they're doing. I think it's just early days at the moment, so I certainly wouldn't at the moment be concerned about that.
I've heard it expressed that the current auto-enrolment regulations don't work with group personal pensions, but that's a very blunt view. And I guess what you're saying is it remains to be seen.
I think it does, and I think the complexity is certainly there, and that's probably one of the reasons I would suggest why it's taking a little bit longer than most of us would like, perhaps, to actually come out with the details. Not that I think that it's too much of a problem at the moment, because the majority of the market, I suspect, for a lot of those schemes will be probably not be the first tranche of employers to reach their staging dates. So we probably do still have a little bit of time in reality before we start to hit the mass market for those kinds of contracts.
Yeah, but I guess a lot of those smaller employers will be worried about surviving until their staging date, let alone
yes, I'm sure they will,
what they're going to do.
Yes.
Well, we all hope for better times. Thank you very much indeed for coming. And I hope that Kevin's words of wisdom have given you some fresh encouragement for the future of pensions. We would like to have your comments, which can be fed back on the site, and I'll ensure that they're passed on to you. So thank you very much indeed for watching. Goodbye.